Hello, my name is Kelly Jones, and my partner, Kelly Kirkland, and I are here to discuss Chapter 5 of Brian Caravella's Breaking Barriers Student Success in Community College Math. Specifically, we are here to discuss Chapter 5, which is Attempting Math and Community College. So, Kelly and I were assigned Chapter 5 in Caravella's book. And chapter 5 dives deeper into the participants' personal lives and academic histories, specifically as it pertains to their relationships with mathematics. The chapter also examines the different institutions attended by the participants, specifically looking at the courses they offer and the varying modalities and available supports. So, the students who volunteered for this study came from diverse backgrounds. However, they all shared one thing. Each of them had some level of fear, anxiety, or indifference to mathematics. Another commonality all participants shared was the goal of improving their lives through learning. The math struggles experienced by the participants required them to enroll in and pass some level of developmental math course during their first semester at community college. This chapter highlights their educational endeavors. Participants for this study attended 5 different community colleges: Flores Community College, Drummond Community College, Arnold Community College, Blair Community College, and Walsh Community College. And each of these institutions offers different sequences of developmental math courses and supports. Flores Community College's developmental math sequence starts off with a Head Start program, which meets 4 hours a day for 5 days a week, one week prior to the start of the semester. This program is staffed by math faculty and student tutors and provides practice problems that are pre-prepared, allowing students to sharpen their mathematics skills while also gaining valuable support in a low-risk environment. Students earn no credit for participating in the program, but reported the benefits of greater understanding of course content, leading to increased confidence. And following the Head Start program, the sequence begins with the pre-algebra to elementary algebra and ending with intermediate algebra. All courses were conducted for half a semester and are delivered via traditional lecture, the emporium model, or online. Both Quantway and Statway can be taken as co-requisite courses as well. The next school, Drummond Community College, offered Quantway 1, a standalone full semester quantitative literacy course, which prepares students for quantitative reasoning and is the college level portion of Quantway. Statway is also offered and is integrated developmental math content along with statistics to help fulfill college level statistics requirements. These pathways were developed to be more relevant to students' daily lives, thereby making the content easier to digest, and are delivered in 2 semesters. Drummond also offers the sequence of Introduction to Algebra and Intermediate Algebra through 2 full semesters in either lecture-based or online formats. Arnold's 1 week arithmetic refresher course for students who didn't test into Introduction to Algebra takes place a week before the semester starts. The content intensive course meets 3 hours per day for 4 days and covers content ranging from fractions to introduction to integers. Even though the course is lecture-based, instructors employ drill and practice as well as group work during class. Students can enroll in Introduction to Algebra if they pass the refresher exam with at least an 80% or higher. Following the refresher, Arnold's developmental math sequence is Introduction to Algebra, followed by Elementary Algebra, and finally Intermediate Algebra. All courses are half semester long and can be attended via traditional, emporium, or online modalities. Blair Community College has the smallest offering of developmental math courses, with the sequence consisting of basic algebra followed by intermediate algebra, both as full semester courses and in the emporium and online modalities. There are no face-to-face options for either of these courses. Walsh's developmental math sequence consists of Algebra 1, then Algebra 2, and finally Algebra 3, with all of the courses running half semester and offered in the traditional, emporium, and online modalities. At Walsh, enrollment in algebra requires mandatory registration in supplemental instruction. The supplemental instruction at Walsh meets once a week for 50 minutes and was led by someone who attends the class alongside the students. In understanding the emporium model, this model was utilized by every college, with the exception of Drummond. This particular model of instruction emphasizes interactive instruction via computer software, individualized instruction where the faculty serve more as tutors and provide support as students need it, as opposed to delivering standardized lectures. Students work at their own pace instead of working on content at the same rate of their peers, and content is divided into modules and uses tutorials, practice exercises, online quizzes, and tests, all of which require high levels of self-motivation and discipline. So when participants were asked about how they felt about about starting community college and having to take developmental math, their feelings ran the gamut from excited and determined to scared, anxious, and conflicted. Overall, more students had varying levels of apprehension about their expectations as opposed to being happy about the possibility of learning and succeeding in something that they've long struggled with. So we identified some negative feelings about attending school and taking math at the same time, and the sources of those feelings. The negative feelings expressed by students about school in general and math specifically came from numerous sources, both inside and outside of the classroom. Factors that created negative feelings about school and math inside of the classroom included ridicule from teachers, being taunted by classmates, confusion from not understanding the content, and an overall lack of concern about school as a whole. Outside of the classroom, negative feelings about school and math came from mental health issues, grieving the death of a loved one, pressure from family about going to school, and being trapped in dead-end low-wage jobs. From here, I'll turn it over to Kelly, and she will detail our findings for the remainder of the chapter, as well as provide our conclusion.
Thank you, Kelly. So as Kelly just talked about, there were some negative feelings from the students. Fortunately, they also expressed some positive influences, and these included the caring instructors, encouragement from them, their helpful peers. Some of these things were absolutely opposite of what they'd experienced when they were in high school. And then because of programs like Head Start and some of the other things, they had better comprehension of the material. All of these things led to increased confidence for the students. Outside support, such as their family encouragement and career aspirations, also reinforced their motivation. Go ahead. Yeah, there we go. All right, so in their own words, as far as how they felt like they started off, their successful starts were actually often tied to programs like Head Start or the strong relationship with instructors. Head Start was particularly helpful for students like Jessica, Cindy, and Larry. Jessica noticed that the programs helped her grasp fractions and decimals, while Larry felt more prepared for the actual class. Another aspect of it was that students appreciated the small classes, one-to-one help, and instructors who explained math in accessible and relatable ways. Again, these positive influences played a significant role in helping students overcome challenges and succeed in their educational journeys. Okay. So again, as I said, the examples of how the students were able to understand more, Dinah said that she was happy to understand the material and help provided by the tutor. What was interesting, and to Kelly, was that so many of the students recognized that what they had done in high school or in previous educational settings are actually the things that put them in the situation that they're in now, that they had the educational opportunity, but they didn't capitalize on it. So, okay, Kelly. So just as there were negative feelings and positive feelings, and starting off right, we have starting off wrong. So the challenges that emerged as students reported that they started off in the wrong way are time management, especially those students that had, they were balancing family and work responsibilities, and mental health struggles like anxiety also interfered with learning and participation. Frustration with instructional models were an issue, especially the emporium model. It led some students to disengage or even drop out. The students that were impacted by trauma or grief had difficulty staying on track also. So some students expressed just indifference. They described the content as repetitive of high school. Now, they appreciated the self-paced nature, but felt like they were understimulated. These students often coasted through without deep engagement. A couple of them reported that they had passed tests with a B, hadn't studied, hadn't paid attention in class or in their emporium sections or online, didn't use any of the tutoring or any support services that were there. And without that engagement, we all recognize that this could hinder them in the long term, not just in these courses, but as they move forward. Okay. So one of the common themes, or several common themes, emerged across the student narratives. Many students, like Emily, Larry, and Denise, entered college with anxiety and concerns about academic readiness. Those who received targeted support, such as the Head Start programs, tutoring, supplemental instruction, and engaged professors, saw improved outcomes. Then personal challenges, including the family pressure, grief, life instability, those significantly affected the academic performance of students like Joyce, Dan, and Otis. Now, as we said before, the emporium model, it's pretty polarizing. So for students like Mike and Jerry, they found it frustrating. Denise thrived with the self-paced structure. A key takeaway is that students consistently valued the personal connection. Audrey, Deb, and Rosemary all emphasized how important instructor engagement and peer relationships were to their success. So as we looked at the effectiveness of the colleges in their support structures, they differed. High effectiveness programs combined emotional support, varied instructional delivery, and academic scaffolding. The students felt stronger as they came through those programs, such as were offered at Flores, Walsh, and Drummond community colleges. On the opposite side, moderate effectiveness institutions offered support inconsistently. Now, they typically had some good prep options, but the faculty support and the modality was mismatched for them. And that was like at Arnold. Now, Blair, they were definitely the outlier here. They were the only considered low, even though low to moderate, but more on the low side, effective college, because they relied heavily on the mismatched modalities and lacked structured interventions. So they were very emporium heavy. All right, thank you, Kelly. So lessons learned that we came out of this with was that developmental math is a major emotional and academic barrier to instruction. Instructional methods must be matched to the student needs, especially for non-traditional learners. And preparation programs such as the Head Start program, instructor relationships, and embedded support like tutoring and supplemental instruction strongly influence the outcomes. And finally, personal life circumstances included caregiving and employment also played a major role in academic persistence. Colleges that integrated responsive support systems, such as Walsh and Flores, they saw higher, success for the students. However, it didn't always transfer to readiness or engagement. Now, as I said, Flores saw higher student success, but those that relied on online and emporium formats, like Blair, had less favorable outcomes. That concludes our presentation on Chapter 5. I want to express my appreciation for the work that Kelly did and the way she was great to work with. And I want to thank each of you for taking the time to listen and view our presentation. Thank you. Y'all have a great day or night. Bye.
Bye.